Hello. In the work I do as a learning designer, and honestly, even in my agribusiness program, I've learned that instructional materials are never finished. They grow, they age, they perform well in some areas, and poorly in others. And like we say back home, if you don't check your yam in the fire, it will burn without warming. That's exactly how I think about continuous improvement in instructional design. Today, I'll share how I intentionally design learning materials so they collect data automatically and why that ongoing care and feeding is not optional but essential. One thing Willie and Strada reading emphasized is that instructional materials must be designed for data collection, meaning we don't wait for data after design, we design for data. In my experience, learners rarely follow the path. I imagine when writing a module, they skip part I assume they are important, repeat part I thought were simple, and breeze through sessions I assumed would be difficult. And the truth is, without data, I would never know that. That's why every piece of instruction must act like a sensor, constantly collecting signals that guides this improvement. My first strategy is to align each step to a measurable outcome. I have learned that if analytics aren't tied to learning outcome, the data tend to be shallow. But when every activity is connected to an objective, the numbers suddenly gain meaning. For example, if a video tied to objective 2 has low engagement, I know where to focus my redesign. It becomes a surgical improvement and not a random one. This kind of alignment is what makes continuous improvement efficient and evidence-based. My second strategy is to build data triggers inside the content. A major shift in my own design practice was this. I stopped waiting till the end of the lesson to measure understanding. Instead, I embedded small data triggers throughout the content. A quick check inside a video, a one question quiz after a tricky concept, a reflection prompt that tells me where students get stuck. These tiny signals gives me real-time insight into the exact moment confusion begins. It is continuous improvement built into the learning experience. My third strategy is to set up my instructional text as a diagnostic tool. So Govender and Java reminded us that instructional text is not just content, it's the steering wheel that guides learners. So if instructions are unclear, learners struggle unnecessarily. And when they struggle, the analytics becomes misleading. And it creates the illusion of a performance problem when the real issue is simply unclear writing. So now, when several learners repeat the same question, I don't blame them. I rewrite the instructional text. That's continuous improvement in action. And then for my fourth strategy, I use multiple data sources. So no single data source can fully explain learners' behavior. I've seen that clearly at Agrodemy. So a video may have a 40% drop off at minute two. And at the same time, learners are complaining about that exact session on our WhatsApp group. So when video analytics, LMS clicks, and learners' comment all align, the pattern becomes undeniable. So I look at things like my page views, my video analytics, my performance data, my qualitative input, and it makes my continuous improvement easier when I begin to listen to data from every single angle. So the question then is why is continuous improvement important? Improvement is simply the responsible way to design instruction. Our learners evolve, the workforce evolve, technology also evolve. So if our course remains static, they quickly become irrelevant. So ADA expect us to evaluate, Agile expect us to iterate, and the UDA expects us to be very flexible. So continuous improvement is not an extra thing. It is actually the core of professional instructional design. It ensures relevance, improve accessibility, support UDA, and maintain structure. So for me, right, the key insight is simple. Instructional material should teach, but they should also talk back. When we design for data, the materials speak. They show us what is working, what is confusing, and what must be redesigned. And that dialogue between the content and the designer is what sustains high quality learning in the long run. Before I wrap up this presentation, I want to acknowledge the guidance I received from my AI mentor, Sophia Zhang, whose feedback consistently helped me refine my instructional design discussion. And insight pushed me to think more critically about measurable objective, the role of data, and the deeper purpose behind every design choice I made. So I also looked at these readings that were shared in my course, and they shaped the way I now think about designing instruction that is not only effective but sustainable. Thank you.